Hey y'all, I've decided to talk about this article. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's rather long and a bit tedious. But uh, what interests me, this is written by this is NPR. Okay, we're talking the Lugan Press. We're talking about the Luganist of the Lugan Press right here, as far as I'm concerned. Those who fancy themselves to be just so erudite, and you ever turn on an NPR podcast or NPR broadcast rather, there's the NPR accent. I've said before, whenever I hear that someone talking in a voice that sounds like NPR, I just want to hit somebody. It's like I just get that instant. It's like it's a very curious thing. But that's neither here nor there. What's interesting to me here is that Nofap has them worried. To check out the headline: Masturbation abstinence is popular online. Doctors and therapists are worried. Now, I've made a journey with Nofap. Um, Originally, I was kind of down on it, or I wasn't down on it per se. I mean, I thought if you want to do it, that's fine. But I sort of just I questioned some of the claims that were being made by some people who are on it, and I still question those claims. I'm not pushing for it. I'm not cheerleading for it or anything like that. But I do think it's it's really strange. It's really interesting how we've seen this cultural trend recently where pornography is good. And I've said this before in prior interviews. The conventional wisdom now that the neoliberal establishment, the Lugan Press, the mainstream media, those who think they know better than the rest of us, those who see it as um, those who see us as the rest of us as their dominion to be propagandized properly. And we know that's how they think. We know that's how their minds work. We know that's the way in which they view themselves. They are the enlightened ones. They are what Thomas Sowell called the anointed, and so forth. So it's the that hasn't changed, but their conventional wisdom, which is to say the party line on pornography and masturbation, has shifted over the last especially 5 years or so. If you've got an OnlyFans, that's great. You're a feminist. You're taking control of your body. You're sex positive. Sex positive became this weird phrase of like something you're supposed to lay claim to show that you're a good proper person. I'm sex positive. You know that has not always been the case. You know, there in the past, feminism has various feminists have inveighed uh, against pornography, but it seems to be the case now that leave pornography alone, leave the pornographers alone, and NoFap is something that's highly suspect. They want you to coom. They want you to be a coomer, in the words of the Gen Z types, the 4chan types. Okay, so doctors and therapists are worried. Look at that. Look at that sexy picture there. I know my screen is polluted, but that's just the way it is. Nothing scares me, nothing hurts me anymore, a young YouTuber tells the camera as snowflakes cut across the frame. He is shirtless in a Michigan. January, he tells viewers to make a point about embracing discomfort in order to become a great, powerful man. The YouTuber goes by the name I Am Lucid, tells the camera he can stand the below freezing temperature because he has been taking cold showers every day and, crucially, hasn't masturbated to pornography in a year. That's the most beta thing you can do. That's the weakest thing any man can do, he says. The video is part of a thriving online landscape dedicated to helping men suppress the urge to masturbate. Okay, so you can see how they're setting this up. This is the framing of this article. They start out with somebody who is a representative of this demographic that they're intending to express concern about, and it's he says it's a totally beta thing to masturbate to pornography, and this is bad, I guess. According to NPR, it's bad to hold off from masturbating to pornography. It's worrisome to see young men doing this online. It's worrisome. It's deeply troubling. We read on. More than 2 decades of growing internet use has surfaced fears about the social psychological impacts of unfettered access to pornography, but many researchers and sex therapists, okay, I should say, but, because here's the, the perspective that they want to prevail in your mind. They want to leave you with this notion, because they think this is the correct way to think about this subject. But many researchers and sex therapists, unnamed, worry that the online communities have formed in response to these fears often endorse inaccurate medical information. Oh no, not medical disinformation. Exacerbate mental health problems, in some cases overlap with extremist and hate groups. Yep, see, so you decide, I'm tired of jacking off online. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to take better care of myself. I'm going to show self-control. And next thing you know, you're an extremist and you're in a hate group. Thank you so much, NPR, for tearing the mask off these seemingly benign, the seemingly benign culture, and letting us know what's really going on here. There are many variations on how and why members of these communities choose to abstain from masturbation. One of the communities is known as Nofap, playing the onomatopoetic word for masturbation, popularized on the notorious 4chan message boards. This is dishonest journalism. I mean, if you call this journalism at all. Like, I would say at least this piece is not just like yelling at you. It's under this piece has, at least has the guise of being proper journalism. They're actually talking to people. They're quoting people. They're not just coming on and raking you over the coals with their polemic. But then there's this crap like, the notorious 4chan. You can't make up your own mind about 4chan. You have to be told how to feel about 4chan. Just like when they say that so and so wrote vile tweets, certain vile tweets. Like, let the tweets speak for themselves. Let their vileness, if vile they are, speak for itself. Anyhow. The term Nofap has come to encompass a set of unproven claims that not masturbating confers social and health benefits. Oh, God. Unproven. See, this is just like dishonest. More examples of dishonest pseudo-journalism. Unproven. I mean, it's such a weaselly way of talking about this subject. Well, I mean, what constitutes proof? Are we going to expect those who make the claim that it does confer social and health benefits, are we going to expect that they're going to get a fair shake in this article? I would say no. And that's why I would say, people who ask to be, when the mainstream media asks for you to participate in something about a particular subject, I would say in most instances, most cases, you should just ignore them. Pretend that they're not there, or just say, sorry, no, can't do it. You're a bunch of liars, and I don't trust you, and I don't like you. Go to hell. Get lost. But see, because this is how they operate. There's a large and active forum on Reddit that uses this name, Nofap, LLC. Others, including self-styled coaches, also use the term. Again, self-styled coaches. Like, okay, so they don't really have any the implication there, again, made by this weaselly rhetoric, is these quote unquote self-styled coaches have no expertise. They're just quote unquote grifters. While some figures in this space are religious, most frame their advice as science-based forms of self-improvement or as a cure for pornography addiction, a popular concept that's disputed by scientists and researchers who study sexuality. Okay, so this makes it sound like there's just this 100% consensus that pornography addiction is not real. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. And it's because it's disputed by scientists and researchers who study sexuality. It doesn't say by some. It doesn't just say this is a controversial subject, and some say this. It's saying this is a popular concept. Okay, popular meaning, unscientific people. The benighted laymen, those who have been indoctrinated by extremist hate groups. They think that they, which has become more and more of a big scene on the internet, which is definitely concerning to NPR and the like, and their compatriots in disingenuous rhetoric. So they say a popular concept. So popular concept meaning idiots believe it. It's popular among the hoi polloi, but the scientists and researchers who study sexuality say there's no such thing as pornography addiction. Just watch as much pornography as you want and jack off to your organ's content. Okay. Yeah, that goes on like this. Yeah, like blah blah blah. And yeah, there's some things others claim benefits of avoiding masturbation may include superpowers, like more confidence and more romantic interest from women. So Nofap LLC says it is not anti-masturbation, not anti-porn, and today its creator says it is a peer support group for people with problematic pornography use. Okay. And then they quote one person. They quote a urologist who says, I've seen these claims, blah, 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 about semen retention, and there is no medical evidence that does any of those things. Adding that abstaining from ejaculation will merely result in nocturnal emissions or wet dreams. All right. So, like, why do you care then? Like, okay, that's what I find most curious, and I'm not going to go through this whole thing because as I said, it's tedious and too much disingenuous rhetoric. Really, I have a very short, I have a very small tolerance of, and I've already seen ample evidence of it in the first few paragraphs of this article. But my question through all of this is, Why do they care that young men are going online and looking up and going on forums and that encourage them to show self-control and to not watch pornography and not jack off? Why is that worrisome? And here's my guess. Here's my best guess. Because they want us, okay, and you call me, tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist here. But I've said many times before, that the common denominator in everything that they're pushing, that everything that that mainstream Western neoliberal establishment types are pushing, every part of it, for all of it, the common denominator is uh, to to help in depopulation efforts. All right, they don't want people live show. They don't want men showing self-control, marrying young, having children with their wives, uh, having maybe perhaps even more than one child. It'd be perhaps having 2 or 3 children. Oh my gosh, that's bad. No, we want to depopulate. We don't. Overpopulation is killing us all. It's so that's the guise under which everything that they push for is pushed for. Everything from feminism to gay rights. You think about it. And I've done videos about this before, and I've written about this before. But that's the common denominator. That's the reason why they push everything that they push for. And why in the world would they have a problem with Nofap? Well, because the idea behind Nofap is that young men learn to be disciplined instead of just going on their computers every day watching free pornography, which um, pornography was never free up till recently. When I was a teenager, you had to really look for it. And it took some effort, and it wasn't just out there for everybody to see. Now it is. And so in response to all of that, you've got these communities saying, don't give in to your baser drives. Take care of yourself. Show some self-respect. Show yourself some self-control. Um, and that's basically a traditionalist mindset, even if it's not religious. And the article admits even that most of the NoFap types aren't coming from any religious point of view, but still, it's traditionalist in the sense that it's encouraging men to be continent, to not just indulge their basest whims and drives. So, anyhow, they're worried. So I think it's a good thing that they're worried. And I think anytime you read an article about here's a trend that's very worrisome, I think we should enjoy the fact that they're worried. I think we should. It's Schadenfreude at its best, because when people who don't intend who intend what is the very worst for you are worried about you, what does that mean? That means you're doing something right. So worry them, alarm them. If you do that, you're doing something right. All right, those are my thoughts on this article. I'll leave the link to those who have who have a better stomach than I do for disingenuous rhetoric. You can read it all yourself. And point out for me if I'm missing anything. Thanks for watching.